Remember.
You go to chilly season, can't you? It's August, there's no news, so...
Yeah, well, we had a horrible week this week at the news store. Right, Martin's just going to set that up. So just, I mean, in terms of why you're here today.
I've just been... I'm working at 3. I'm working okay, so I'm just doing an interview now. And if it is heat, I will talk about within 5 minutes.
He does a video.
It's funny because I've done an exclusive for the Sunday Times, and the photographer came on, and he was a Hungarian perfectionist photographer. And my goodness me, we spent ages. I mean, if I'd been paid off, I think we spent longer with buggering about. Dear, oh dear, I'm a fat little middle-aged man, just quick snap and bugger off.
How did you get a Hungarian photographer?
I don't know, but he was so keen, and he was getting, you know, he really went to town, but he, you know, to run for Sunday, he's getting, you know, a decent bit of wedge to do that, and of course the photo editor or somebody will be highly critical, so for me, for an ordinary dude like me, holiday snap type stuff,
Yeah.
for him, you know, it's professional. And,
It's amazing how intricate they are, how they sort of, you can't see what they're doing, but it all makes sense.
yeah, blokes like me just sort of don't get it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Right. So, yeah.
Well, obviously, the election coming up, and I suppose I might argue that it's a sunny day and it's come to Scarborough. And we had our conference here, our spring conference a little while ago, and I'm always surprised at what a delightful place it is. It really is. And I keep forgetting it. I only come up a few times a year. People should come to Scarborough more often because it's absolutely delightful. We had our first conference with Freddie Bloom.
Yeah.
Freddie Bloom came. It was very, very good. It's here. And everybody who comes particularly from London, people come up from our conference from London and they go, I can't believe it. And the lights in the evening, it's like being on the Côte d'Azur. It really is. And it makes a big impact on my southern friends.
Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Right. Okay, where are we taking it from?
yeah, just, I mean, quickly, I mean, why you
Yeah. Well, always a pleasure, as you say, to come to Scarborough. We had a conference here, spring conference. We had a conference before that, a major national conference with Freddie Bloom speaking. And it really is a delightful place. The Victorian architecture is delightful. My London friends who come up here, you know, are just amazed because they don't come to Scarborough. Londoners don't really come to Scarborough, and when they do come, they realise what a beautiful place it is. It's delightful. But we've got some problems. We've got some problems in my view, and in UKIP's view, and that is when you come through the Yorkshire road, as people from West Yorkshire do, part of the beauty of coming to Scarborough is driving through that cotton country. You know, that is beautiful countryside, which is appreciated by other people who come to Scarborough, you know, from Leeds and Bradford, the big conurbations. Part of their day out in Scarborough is that drive. And I've just driven over, and I've got my wife's car with the hood down, and I've just driven across tracks in the world, and it is a delightful drive. And it's been peppered with wind turbines, which we all know don't work, don't really produce very much electricity. They make landowners an absolute fortune, you know, hundreds of thousands a year, and we can't afford our electricity bills. So the drive into Scarborough is a problem, and now I gather they want to produce Norwegian rocks all along here, where this very well-engineered Victorian sea wall with its lip, which reverses the high seas that we get in winter on itself, which has functioned pretty well for a very long time. They want to change that by putting in Norwegian rocks all the way along here, and I gather it's probably going to cost something like 16 million. And I would argue, as I'm sure most people who live in Scarborough would argue, that that 16 million could be given back to the storeholders and shopkeepers in reduced business rates. And I bet if I walk down the front and I ask people in their little shops, that would they still have Norwegian rocks along here, or their business rates halved, I know what the answer would be. So, you know, why it's not just Scarborough, is it? It's all over the country. Why is it the council is doing this? Where's the cost-benefit analysis? Where's that been done? Who's on the result? Who's on the result? We both know what I mean. This is a £60 million contract for no really good reason. So someone somewhere is getting a deal. Now, I'd like to know what that deal is. I'd like to drill right down and find out who's selling the rocks, who's broking, you know, the rocks, who's bringing them here, who's transporting it all. Where's the 16 million going? And is anybody in Scarborough involved getting a result out of this? That's the first thing I'd like to know. Because whenever I go all over my constituency, from Whitley to Pennines to Grimsby, whenever I find unreasonable council spending, something smells rotten in the state of Denmark. And I think it's the same thing in Scarborough. And I'd really like to know why. I'd like to get everybody to come and say, why? Where's the engineers? Where is everything here for your 16 million? And why are you giving it back to the hard-pressed shopkeepers of Scarborough or hoteliers who badly need it to build what is really what Scarborough's all about, which is tourism?
I mentioned that the council has obviously got two towers. Once this in Town Hall. You had a lot of success last time in the county council elections. I mean, at some point that's going to continue. I mean, a lot of people said it was a process for you last time. I mean, that's been 2 months ago now, I think, the county council.
Yeah.
I think that's going to... Well, I think you've got a reasonable chance of getting them in.
I would certainly think so, because yes, protest vote, but that's really what politics is all about, isn't it? It's protest. The people of Scarborough have got an opportunity to protest against this £16 million waste of money. So yes, it's a protest vote. Everybody needs to come out and put some councillors in there who are more interested in representing the people of Scarborough and the shopkeepers and the businesses of Scarborough, perhaps might I dare say, than lining their own pockets. And they've got an opportunity to do that now, and I would argue that's a very good thing. I think they'd be very stupid to put the same old gang back in, whether it's red, whether it's blue, whether it's Liberal Democrat. They've all had their go, and it hasn't really worked very well. Time for a fresh look, I would say. Let's get some new people out there.
You've got 2 in County Hall as well. In terms of North Yorkshire, I mean, what are you doing in terms of making inroads? Yeah, I mean, you know, you have got your base now. But, I mean, what have you sort of achieved in the very short time you've been here?
Well, of course, we all know with North Yorkshire per se that people who don't vote Conservative, they think their hand will drop off when they come out of the ballot. Certainly, you know, they vote Conservative because they think they will certainly die if they didn't. In the same way, if you cross the Humber and you go to the Pontefract and the Doncaster of this world, they think if they don't vote Labour, their hand will fall off. And I think it would be good if we get away from tribal politics and have a look at the individuals who want to do the job. That's what I think local politics should be about. Not being actually red, blue, or even UKIP. It's more about what are you going to do for the people here?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be doing my job if I never mentioned the last week that it had. I mean, I'm not sure how to describe it. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, I can imagine.
Well, it has, but on that particular subject, the amount of support I've had has been absolutely overwhelming. Do you know I got 1,000 emails yesterday? 1,000 emails. All but 6 were in support. It's got massive support. And again, if you go and ask the people down here who've got 20% VAT, it makes it very difficult to sell a product in the town at 20% VAT. We've got huge duty on pints of beer. You know, people want to go to the pub. So there's huge taxation that we have here. And we're giving £1 billion a month away. And we don't even know where it goes. 400 million goes to the European Union.
Yeah.
400 million.
I was speaking to Michael, and he was saying before, and he said that he reckons about 2/3 of the country probably agree with what you say.
Oh, more than 2/3.
You would say more than that. I mean, in terms of percentage, what would you say that the support is for in this country?
Well, the support I've had, only the support that I can count, which is tweets, emails, telephone calls, has been round about 94%.
94%.
94%.
What people sort of you think people who
People who bother to communicate.
right?
People who bother to. Not everybody communicates.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it depends how you phrase questions, doesn't it? And I think the problem that we've had is trying to sort of worry about the phraseology, which isn't the point. What we need to do is go to people and say, do you think when they're closing the local hospital, they're closing the A&E wing, there aren't enough dialysis machines, there isn't enough cancer treatment at advanced stage. All these things that people want, and we're giving away £1 billion a month, and there's no audit trail. We don't even know where it goes. And of course the Daily Mail, when things started to come back my way yesterday and the day before, they started to flag up these countries and show these leaders in Gabon and places where they had, I was quite right, they've got the Mercedes, the Ray-Bans, and they've got the apartments in Paris. And the reason people support me on this sort of thing is because I'm right. I'm right.
I mean, a lot of people I've spoken with a few people before coming to the meeting, and a lot of people, say at the core of it, they agree with you, but a lot of people, aren't as impressed. And, you're trying to get in the town hall, you're going to have to pick up that string ball. I mean, a lot of people have come, someone said they were, they found embarrassment that you represented them. I mean, what would you say to them people who you need to persuade over the next 5 to 10 years if you want to make inroads in this country? Well,
it depends, you see, what newspaper they've read, what spin they've had, but this implication of racism. Well, let's just look at that, shall we? I'm leading the European parliamentary lobby to grant recognition to Somaliland. I've been to the Indian subcontinent to support the Ahmadiyya Muslims who are being persecuted in Indonesia and Pakistan. I've been into Amritsar at the behest of the Sikhs to try and lobby for better more liberal political treatment of the Sikhs and the Sikh religion. But the trouble is, no journalists look at my website. Why? With your exception, of course. They're too lazy. Journalists are lazy. They're too lazy to do any homework. And this is the problem. And so they get the spin. They get the newspaper journalists, and they read the newspaper, and they only get half a story or a tenth of the story. So people you speak to there go, oh, I'm embarrassed with it. Well, what does he know? Has he met me? Has he looked at my website? The answer, of course, is no, he hasn't, has he? So he's making a snap judgment on the street with something he doesn't know anything about.
So someone who took offence to your comment, took the time out and spent 5-10 minutes with you, what impression do you think about it?
I think they've changed their mind completely. I mean, give you an example. Do you know the Oxford definition of bongo? Yeah, and you only know that because I raised the profile of it. It's a white envelope, a white antelope. So what does bongo land mean? It means the land of the white envelope, white antelope. So, had I said the land of the white antelope, would there have been a fuss? There wouldn't have been, would there?
You didn't say that, you said bongo, bongo.
I did, but it means the same thing. So it's in people's imagination what it means, isn't it? It's in people's imagination.
This way, one point. We have got the election coming up. I mean, see if you lads get in. What's the hope for UKIP in Scarborough for the next 5 to 10 years? I mean, where would you like to see yourself in 5 years? Do you think you can make real inroads in town hall?
Oh yes, I think we can. I think if we've got the right people and people actually start having some confidence. I mean, what's the turnout expected to be?
20, 30.
I know, and it's low, it's 20, and the reason is because people have lost confidence in the incumbents, and most people you speak to here will say they won't bother to vote. Won't they? Of course they won't. And it's because they don't feel that they're being properly represented and they're all as bad as each other.
You're canvassing around the doors, a lot of people said last time I spoke to the one thing they liked about UKIP was that, someone turning up the door for another party to think forgot.
We're certainly banging on as many doors as we possibly can.
Right, that's great. That's fantastic.
Okay.
Right.
You're very welcome.
Pleasure meeting you. Thank you very much. Yeah, good luck.
Appreciate it. Great pleasure.
Yeah, it was something we've got to go in this week.